give you that insight to know that being self-employed, having your own business, is by far the best choice. Um, as far as your future and making money and all that. It's really an endless opportunity rather than at a job. It's like, you know, how far can you go? Years ago, I didn't really see it clearly. I just had the idea and the passion to have my own business and not work for anyone else. During the journey, I started to slowly begin to appreciate the things I'll point out to you. But if you have the mindset from the beginning, in the first stages of this entrepreneurial, right, journey you'll go through, is going to be huge in giving you the motivation that you need to keep pushing forward. Number one reason really is freedom. That's huge. That's key to this whole having your own business thing. Having the freedom that you want to basically schedule your life according to your needs and desires, right? When do you want to go for a run? When do you want to go to the store? When do you want to go in the office? When do you want to travel and take a day off? When do you want to have vacations with the family, right? How much you want to spend? All these things are self independent choices that only freedom can provide. And freedom, you can have somewhat of freedom having a job, but it's not the same as having your own business. Because, yeah, you might be able to choose to buy whatever you want as long as you can afford it, as long as it's within what you have left after you've paid your bills, right? But not as much as, having your own business where I can make $1,000 in a day than $100 per day at a job, right? So it's just never the same. And the same thing in primarily with time. Even though, yes, you're running and owning and you're somewhat self-employed in your own business in the first few years, I still have the choices to say, I'll see John on Tuesday, but today I'm working in the office. Or I'm going to work in the office tomorrow, and today I'm not doing nothing, right? So you have that freedom. And that alone really gives you self control and really sets you apart from those that work at a job during the day or during the night. You can agree with me because I've been through this. You got to go to work in the morning. You can do nothing else until you get out. And by the time you do, you're tired. By the time you do, you're not motivated anymore, right? And even if you are, there's not enough time in the day to really execute the things you want, and it just takes you forever. Especially those of you who keep putting it off. And those of you who did not put it off, and somewhat you're doing it, but you're not doing it consistently, or you're not doing it daily. The job will get in the way, and you really, really have to see the value of freedom. And that should be one of the key components to push you. Another one, too, is it allows you to be creative. It allows you to be, you know, self aware of what you like and don't like. Being at a job, I remember it was like all day long for the time that I was there, do this, do that. I couldn't even think for myself. And even when I did, it was almost like, do what I'm telling you. This is your job. Do your job. I mean, an opinion is probably not even worth giving. And if you go out of your way, it's like they don't even reward you. And whenever they increase your pay, which I had that many times for being a great employee, what are you giving me? $2? Now I'm getting paid $15 an hour instead of 12. Now I'm getting paid 20 instead of 15. Like, keep that. I don't want it. But being self-aware and being creative, being an entrepreneur, business owner, that's huge, guys. Like, right now, I'm running about 3 businesses that are making me money. I'm starting to implement a fourth and a fifth that are somewhat in the works of, branding and planning and putting the business plan together, mostly online, e-commerce in a sense, digital. Um, but I remember, I started years ago just being a computer guy, and slowly but surely I was like, okay, hold on. Yeah, I could fix computers, but what about if I charge customers every month for me to just be available? Call me. You need help. I'm here for you. Don't just call me randomly because you broke your computer or you got a virus because you're doing a bunch of nonsense. Instead, let's catch up every month, every week. I'll advise you according to what you need to be doing to prevent those very things. And now I'm in full control of what will come and what will happen. And so from there, I was like, now I have my own business. I got to figure out having a website. I got to figure out how to, put myself online, how to advertise my business. And so trying and error on that, it was like, oh, I get it. I get it now. Do I hire someone? God knows who you can trust out there. Blow all this money that I really don't have? Or should I just really figure this out myself? Because I want to be self independent, right? I want to be in full control of what I do. Like the old saying, right? You want it done right, do it yourself. I mean, that only works, to an extent. There's a limit to that. Right now in my business, after 10 years, it's at that point where I cannot do it all myself. So I need to outsource my work. I need to hire other professionals. I need to put an assistant in place, right? I can't do every single thing. I need to have a team in place. But in the first few years, it was like, no, I'm building my own website. No, I'm going to create my own Facebook ad, right? I'm going to book the appointment. I'm going to do the work. I got it. And so it was a very tedious, full blown schedule in a sense of a bunch of things to do. But I felt free. I felt happy that what I was doing was because I wanted to, right? I was self aware of my creative side, my unique side, if you will, because each of us guys have a unique side. And it's going to be hard for you to know that and discover that at a job if you're constantly just following what they're telling you rather than having your own business where you are forced to be creative, right? And then you begin to see the results of your creation. So back to you guys, being creative and self-aware is you're not going to find out your potential. You're not going to find out what you're passionate about if you're constantly following what you're told to do. It's kind of like, are you going to lead or are you going to follow, right? Because even if you're leading at your job, you're limited. And even if you're following at a job, you're not going anywhere. And so, it's constantly going to be a distraction. And even though for me, I did do what I was told, I always try to get it to get creative. Like, okay, as an example, do this, and they're telling you somewhat how to do it, but I was like, hold on, there's a better way. There's a faster way. There's a way that I can do this that I don't have to do it again, that it gets done right the first time. So I'm constantly being creative. But then again, it comes down to, listen, Alan, I get it. That's cool, but do your job. Okay? Nobody told you to do that. And it was like, whoa, okay, wow. But being self-employed and having my own business over the years, nobody tells me, do your job. They're actually telling me, thank you. I like that. Wow. You did that? That's your idea? You created that? I'm like, yep, all me. They were like, impressive. Unbelievable. How do you do it? And so what a response. And so that's another benefit, guys, that you have having your own business. Let's also talk a little bit about money, for example. You're going to have an endless opportunity being self-employed in terms of your income than having a job. Because unless you're going for some type of doctor degree, some sort of lawyer, something that requires years of college, and even that, you'll never be rich. You'll never be a millionaire, right? You'll make decent money, but then you're stuck in the system. You're following a horse, right? You're in this rat race of go to work, do your job, get paid. That could be $1,000 a week to $5,000 a week. You're still limited to what you can do. But having your own business, You could go from, like in my example and many others, you could go from $50,000 a year to literally 100. You could go from $100,000 a year to 150 or 200. You could go from $3,000 a month to $10,000 a month, right? And still, in my example, I can make $10,000 and probably work 10 hours. But for you to make $10,000 a month, you probably have to work 40 hours a week. You see the difference? Again, guys, the opportunity to make money is endless because you are self aware. You have the freedom that you need to do so. You are creative and you have endless opportunity for you to take an idea to another level and that level to another. And before you know it, it's just constantly keeping it balanced. And that's one of the things, and many of the things actually, because I can go on and on about having your own business versus having a job. If you're willing to work 40 hours a week, if you're willing to go to college for 2 years, don't tell me you're not willing to build your own business. I mean, come on. The only difference is, and this is where you got to really challenge yourself if you're dealing with that. Having a job, you're told what to do, so you just follow it. That might be easy for some people. Having your own business, you need to figure it out. You need to come up with your own idea. You need to come up with your own thoughts. You need to plan it all. You need to do all the steps. That might be too much for too many people, but the reward is outstanding. It's much better.